welcome back to it. 267-495-4866 is the phone number. You can leave us a voicemail anytime. Or email us at dougkarnsprogram@gmail.com. All right, so at the end of the segment here, where we have to play the Steven Tyler National Anthem. Joe, you heard it, right?
Oh, it was a disaster.
Yeah, so we'll have to play that at the end of the show just for some kicks and giggles. But let's talk a little bit about the GOP race and in specific, Newt Gingrich. Now, Joe, you used to be a Newt Gingrich follower.
I think a lot of us used to be.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. If you remember,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I couldn't stand Newt Gingrich. But a lot of people fell for his magic, which I understand because I fell for Sarah Palin's magic and so on. You know, it just happened.
I never fell for her, though.
Yeah. Well, then maybe there you go. You can hold that over me.
Yeah, I'll pat myself on the back for that.
Maybe it was just her hotness that I fell for. I don't know. But so anyway, so Newt Gingrich, I don't know how he won the South Carolina primary on Saturday. I don't know how people keep holding this guy up. He has so much baggage between all his 4 million wives, his ethics charges, and when he got kicked out of his house, the Speaker of the House. He has a contract with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. I always get that screwed up. Which is a spiraling out of control federal agency for mortgages. This guy,
and yet he resurrects his campaign not once but twice.
Twice, yeah,
in the same
campaign. But the thing that blows my mind, Joe, like everybody is voting him because they're like, well, we need somebody that can beat Obama. But that's fine. We need somebody to beat Obama, but not the same guy that is Obama. Like, he is a lighter version of Obama. I'm not saying he's exactly his, but he has a lot of the same policies.
And if he's not Obama, he's definitely McCain.
Yes, or worse, actually.
Or worse.
I mean, he loved the New Deal that FDR did, which actually just prolonged the Great Depression. He loves FDR. He loves Woodrow Wilson. He called himself a realpolitik Wilsonian, which means he studied, Wilson and his, evil days as president. He loves Teddy Roosevelt, which was the start of the progressive movement, which took a lot of rights away from Americans. He is he's a progressive. He really is. And if you've listened to the show for the past year, you know how bad progressivism is. It's a big government society that says that will take care of you. That's what progressives want. I mean, you hear it all the time. We're being told what is good for us, and they're up there making $150 million or $150,000 a year on average, telling us what to do. They are the noble class.
Well, there are public servants, but they're
exactly, Joe. They are public servants. They should not be making this much money. Our founding fathers got little compensation for their time.
Just looking at that just shows you how backwards
it
our
is.
country
It
is.
really is. You're supposed to be serving. Our military's making $30,000 a year, serving, behind the enemy lines, and our congressmen are making $150,000 to sit on their ass in a.
They're sitting pretty in their little office chair, and
you ever see those offices or the chairs in the house? They're nice. That nice leathery cushion, like, must feel good to sit down and relax for a little bit.
No, it's so rough. They gotta get paid.
They gotta get paid so much
to sit in those chairs.
It's ridiculous.
It's tough.
They are public servants. They, just like I said in my State of the Union speech earlier in the show, their salary should be the average American salary. So
that makes sense,
because it will give them incentive. If the average American salary goes up, they get a pay raise. If it goes down, they lose. I think that's a fair way of doing.
Yeah, I like that.
It should be an amendment in the Constitution.
You can't just get paid a certain amount and
no,
have it stay like
what
that no matter what.
Is, especially since there's no term limits in Congress and the Senate, they just vote these things in because it can't take effect till the next term. In the Constitution, it says that the pay raise cannot take in effect until the next term because they don't want congressmen and congresswomen just voting in pay raises all year long and reaping the benefits. So, but then they get reelected and then they reap them anyways. So back to Newt Gingrich. He's an awful, awful candidate, and he really knows how to spur the crowd. And he just came out on Tuesday and said, "I will not be in any debates unless the media lets the audience cheer." Because now the media is saying we're not going to allow them to cheer anymore, which I think is actually fair. Because you look at it, Newt says something that doesn't make sense, but it sounds good, kind of like what Obama does, and everybody cheers. It sounds great.
Yeah.
And it gives them a boost.
Yeah.
But then Rick Santorum says something that actually makes sense, but it might not sound as flashy, and he gets 5 applause.
Well, it's kind of like a sitcom, like how they have the laughter in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
When they laugh, you think it's funny.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a way that Newt loves it because he gets that smirk on his face when he hears that big cheer. You watch him in debates, he gets that smirk.
He can be a real douche sometimes.
So, all right. Well, anyway, so let's move on. We have Chris Christie talking on Meet the Press on Sunday about his feelings with Newt Gingrich.
When I moderated the debate in New Hampshire, I asked the candidates on the stage, why shouldn't Mitt Romney be the nominee? What's disqualifying about his record? So now I ask you, as a member of the establishment, right, why shouldn't Newt Gingrich be the nominee of this party? What's disqualifying about his record?
Well, listen, the fact of the matter is, from my perspective, not as a member of the establishment, David, but as a governor, I know that we don't need another legislator in the Oval Office. We've had one for the last 3 years who hasn't had the first idea of how to use executive authority or how to bring Congress together.
All right, to stop him here real quick. Bush was a governor, and he screwed up. So I hate this garbage that, granted, I would like a governor over a legislator because at least they have some kind of executive experience. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. If you still trash the Constitution, you trash the Constitution.
Yep.
And Bush kind of trashed it as much as, well, not as much, but just a little bit less than Obama has.
Well, I think, the first level, though, just looking at it, you want a governor. Or
you want somebody with executive experience that knows how to lead.
Then you get into, what they think about the Constitution and all that. But I think he has a good point there. It's not like the end-all, be-all if he's a senator.
But it's a bright spot to look at if somebody's a governor.
We've had the worst years of Congress in my lifetime because this president refuses to get in the room, roll up his sleeves, and get the hard work done. We don't need another legislator in the Oval Office who does not know how to use executive authority. We need an executive, someone who both in private sector and as a governor understands how to bring people together and use executive power. The speaker simply doesn't have that experience. He's never run anything.
You've been more pointed when you talk about in favor of Governor Romney. You say he will never embarrass you. Do you think Newt Gingrich will embarrass the party?
I think Newt Gingrich has embarrassed the party over time. Whether he'll do it again in the future, I don't know. But Governor Romney never...
All right, so he says, Gingrich is going to embarrass the party, or that he has, because what happened was Gingrich got kicked out for ethics reasons out of the House. And I think that's where Republicans started losing their soul a little bit because they regained ground in the 90s. They were actually the conservatives. They were actually their name. They were being conservative with spending and all that.
Yeah.
But, Gingrich started the snowball down the hill where, conservatives got it out of control, and turns out today there are a lot of them are progressives. They're big government progressives. So Romney says this, and everybody knows I used to be a huge Sarah Palin supporter. I used to love her. It's the only reason why I probably voted for McCain, because of Sarah Palin, because I thought she was a very, Constitution-loving, candidate. But then she goes on to say, she came out and supports Newt Gingrich, which it just totally, that just washes it for me now. I'm like, well, how can you, if you love the Constitution, how could you like Newt Gingrich? Because he wants to change the Constitution. He said it in the last 20 years. He wants to, he thinks the Constitution could do better. No, the Constitution is what it is.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. And here's what Sarah Palin had to say.
Poor Chris, this was a rookie mistake. He played right into the media's hand.
Ugh,
Sometimes,
that voice.
if your candidate loses in just one step along this path, as was the case when Romney lost to Newt the other night, and of course Romney is Chris Christie's guy, well, you kind of get your panties in a wad, and you may say things that you regret later, and I think that that's what Chris Christie did.
All right, so I totally disagree with it here. Chris Christie was just speaking his mind. Yeah. He was saying that,
Well, you can tell when a guy's like he has an agenda, and then, like in Chris Christie's little interview, you can tell when he's like just speaking his mind.
Yeah, I mean, bringing up Gingrich's baggage is okay. Like, I mean,
legitimate.
Yes, like if he's gonna be elected to, or he's gonna be the candidate to go up against Obama, we need to know about his baggage. We need to know about his ethics. Because the media and Obama will tear him apart.
Yeah.
As good as he is in debates, he'll get torn apart and he'll lose again, or he'll lose the race, and we'll have Obama for another 4 years. We still have the choice. Vote Santorum. At least vote Romney. Like, it's just somebody that's not Newt Gingrich.
Yeah. Santorum, Romney, and then after that it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, I'll go for maybe Gingrich, but I don't know about Paul.
No Paul.
All right, so before we go, Joe, let's give our audience.
We have to warn them first.
Yeah.
If they didn't see it.
I mean, you might want to. You might actually just. You probably should just stop listening to us now because
send the kids to bed before you hear this.
Yeah. You might just want to turn the radio off now because this is pretty awful. But
have a good night. See you next week.
During the football games, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith got to sing the national anthem, and this is what it sounded like.
Please rise for the singing of our national anthem, performed today by
Hold
the
your
lead
ears.
singer of the multi-platinum award-winning band Aerosmith. Here is Steven Tyler.
All right, here we go. You might want to turn off the radio now.
Can you see by the dawn's early light?
I think like he got his foot
So
stuck in the door jamb or something because he's like whining.
at the twilight's last gleaming.
Oh, it gets worse.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets struck
Wait, Joe, do you have a tissue? My ears are starting to bleed.
You know how people get teary-eyed just listening to this?
Yeah.
Well, people are getting teary-eyed
Yeah.
just listening to him.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the national anthem. Is that a werewolf? What is that?
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
Players are like, what the hell
I
is
know.
this?
Like, couldn't find anybody better for a championship game.
Oh, the land of the free
Oh, that one hurt. Oh, man.
and the home of the
Well, if this was American Idol, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't get past
No.
the first round.
Not even close.
I'm pretty sure he would vote himself out. I mean, that is just awful.
But God bless America.
Yes.
No matter what.
He probably got paid millions of dollars
Yeah.
to do that, and he's awful. And I mean, I love Aerosmith songs, but he must be so old now that he just can't carry a tune anymore. All right, well, that's it for the show this week. We're ending on a horrible note, but we hope to see you again next week at 7 p.m. on All Noise Radio.